total pro. She was very nice to me. Generous artist.
That's breaking news now, and that is that the actress Diane Keaton has died at the age of 79.
We all know what an extraordinary, unique, special person and artist Diane was.
More exposed, more undefended, and just willing to show herself inside and out.
To The Godfather, to Something's Gotta Give. Tonight, Diane Keaton, in her own words, her humor, her talent, her kindness.
Diane Keaton's passing didn't just shake Hollywood, it revealed something no one saw coming. A quiet, private funeral, and a eulogy from Keanu Reeves so raw and emotional, it left everyone in silence.
It was cool to be able to see her and Jack Nicholson together, just with the history they shared.
This wasn't just a goodbye, it was a glimpse into a bond deeper than the world ever knew. But that's just the beginning. From the iconic rise of a fearless young actress to the lasting legacy she left behind, Diane's story is more powerful than ever. Stick around, because what Keanu said and the legacy she built will leave you speechless. Diane Keaton's passing at 79 due to pneumonia was met with an outpouring of grief across the world.
Now we have sad news from the world of entertainment. American media is reporting that legendary actress, director, and producer Diane Keaton has died at...
Extraordinary. Tonight, Bette Midler calling Diane Keaton hilarious, a complete original. What you saw was who she was.
But what truly caught the public off guard wasn't the news itself. It was the way Hollywood responded. No flashing cameras, no red carpets, just silence and reverence. Keanu Reeves' eulogy pierced through that silence like a knife through still air. His words, soft yet powerful, revealed a bond that went far deeper than the audience ever imagined. Keanu's tribute wasn't just emotional, it hinted at something deeper, a friendship built quietly over decades, forged through shared experiences in Hollywood's unforgiving spotlight. Witnesses described the moment as hauntingly beautiful. His voice didn't shake, but the room did. It was raw, honest, and unlike anything the public had ever seen from him. It wasn't the polished Hollywood moment, it was real. And that's exactly why it broke through the noise.
Watching those two legends not only act, but insult each other.
But things get even more emotional. Diane Keaton wasn't just a legendary actress, she was a cultural force. Known for her iconic roles, sharp wit, and effortless elegance, she never chased fame. It found her. And yet, through all the glamour, she remained grounded. Her quiet final days reflected the woman she'd always been. Private, intentional, and deeply human. While the world mourned publicly, her loved ones grieved quietly in a small room filled with white flowers, just as she had asked. But the reason this moment is so powerful goes even deeper. Fans around the world began flooding social media with personal stories of how Diane inspired them, not just through her roles, but through her honesty, humor, and fearlessness to live life her own way.
Long before I met her in real life, I felt like I knew her. I grew up watching her movies. She meant a lot to me because her women were so singular.
People didn't just admire her, they connected with her, but listen to this. Even in her final wishes, she remained consistent. No extravagant memorial, no elaborate tribute concert, no long-winded Hollywood parade. Just a quiet gathering, a meaningful eulogy, and a reminder of what really matters. Diane Keaton's story began on January 5th, 1946 in Los Angeles. Raised in a modest Santa Ana home, her creativity was nurtured early on by her mother, an amateur photographer. In 1968, she moved to New York, joining the Broadway cast of Hair. But listen to this. Behind the spotlight, Diane faced real struggles. In her 20s, she battled an eating disorder, eventually overcoming it through therapy. That fight forged her resilience and became the foundation of the raw, emotionally honest performances that would define her legacy. Diane Keaton's rise to stardom exploded with one film, Annie Hall in 1977. Her partnership with Woody Allen, both professional and personal, created a cinematic milestone that changed Hollywood forever. Her portrayal of Annie wasn't just a performance, it was a cultural reset. Intelligent, vulnerable, witty, and fiercely independent, Diane embodied a new kind of female lead that audiences had never truly seen before. The role won her the Academy Awards for Best Actress, cementing her as a defining figure of modern film. But that's not all. Diane didn't just shape cinema, she shaped fashion. Her effortless blend of trousers, vests, and fedoras became iconic, setting trends that still echo through pop culture today. It wasn't rebellion for the sake of shock value, it was self-definition. Diane Keaton wore who she was, on and off the screen, and the world couldn't look away. Diane Keaton's career wasn't just defined by hits, it was defined by risks. During the making of Reds in 1981, the immense pressure of a historical epic alongside Warren Beatty pushed her to her limits. The emotional weight and exhaustion became overwhelming, forcing her to briefly retreat from the spotlight to regain her strength. It was a rare moment of vulnerability from someone the world saw as unshakable. But listen to this. Even after stepping back, Diane came back stronger. Roles like Baby Boom in 1987 made her the face of the modern, capable woman balancing ambition and identity.
She shot to fame in the 1970s with her role as Kay Adams in the Godfather trilogy.
And then when I got to meet her in person, she just lived up to every single thing that I'd hoped she would be.
But she didn't stay in the comfort zone. In The Good Mother, she pushed into deeper, riskier storytelling, proving she cared more about truth than trends. Whether or not a film topped the box office, Diane's performances always had weight. And then there was her personal life. Her nearly two-decade relationship with Al Pacino was as passionate as it was complicated. When he refused to commit to marriage, Diane made a decision that shocked many. She walked away. That choice wasn't about heartbreak, it was about clarity. It marked another turning point in her life, a woman who refused to compromise her worth. By the 1990s, Diane Keaton was proving she was more than just a legendary actress. She was a creator in every sense of the word. She stepped behind the camera, earning critical praise for directing Unstrung Heroes, a project that showcased her sensitivity, intelligence, and quiet power. But she didn't stop there. Diane embraced photography, publishing beautifully crafted books and architectural collections that revealed a side of her the public rarely saw. But that's not all. She became a thoughtful documentarian of life itself, capturing California's historic homes, small imperfections, and moments most people overlook. Her art wasn't about spectacle. It was about seeing beauty in the ordinary. And then came the choice that changed everything. In her 50s, Diane made the deeply personal decision to adopt two children, Dexter in 1996 and Duke in 2001. She often described motherhood as humbling and transformative, a role she stepped into with quiet determination and love. Her home life was grounded and simple, a sharp contrast to the red carpets and flashing lights that had defined so much of her career. It was here, in the stillness of family, that Diane found a different kind of legacy. Diane Keaton's late career renaissance came with a film that reminded the world she was far from done. In 2003, she returned to the spotlight in Something's Gotta Give, starring alongside Jack Nicholson and Keanu Reeves. The movie was a massive success, not just commercially, but culturally. Diane proved something rare in Hollywood. A woman over 50 could still be vibrant, romantic, magnetic, and very much the star of the show. But listen to this. Rumors of a secret romance between her and Keanu began swirling almost immediately. Fans speculated endlessly, but Diane made it clear. Keanu was a dear friend, not a romantic partner. Even so, their bond ran deep. On screen, their chemistry was effortless. Off screen, it was built on mutual respect and quiet understanding, and that bond would take on new meaning years later. Keanu's tribute at her funeral wasn't just another eulogy. It was a symbolic goodbye from someone whose life she had deeply impacted. His steady, heartfelt words reflected not only their friendship, but the profound way Diane touched everyone around her. It was the kind of farewell only reserved for someone truly unforgettable. In her final years, Diane Keaton embodied the very idea of timeless grace. She became a symbol of ageless beauty and authenticity, representing L'Oreal with her signature confidence and charm.
She was full of life. She was like champagne in human form, you know? She talked a mile a minute.
But behind the glamour, she stayed grounded, dedicating her time to animal welfare, homelessness advocacy, and the quiet joys of family life.
She asked as many questions as you asked of her, and she just was never
She lived simply in Los Angeles, surrounded by her children, her beloved pets, and the garden she tended with care. Her camera was never far. She continued photographing flowers, homes, and small details that most people would overlook. But that's not all. In early 2025, just months before her passing, Diane made one last defining move. She sold her Brentwood home, a place she had designed and curated herself. The space reflected everything she stood for: simplicity, warmth, and individuality. After her death, it became a living reflection of her philosophy, proof that beauty doesn't need to shout to be seen. And then came her final message. In her last interviews, Diane spoke with a calm certainty few achieve. "I've lived my way," she said. "No regrets, no apologies, just gratitude." That clarity, that peace became her legacy, a reminder that the truest form of success isn't fame or fortune, but living honestly, authentically, and on your own terms. Diane Keaton's life wasn't just a career, it was a statement, a reminder that strength can be quiet, legacy can be personal, and love can echo long after we're gone. Revisit her films, remember her words, carry forward the values she stood for: authenticity, courage, and grace. What moment of hers will you never forget? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want more stories that go beyond the headlines, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This isn't goodbye, it's how legends live on.